switch my stream scene. That would have been embarrassing. In any case, here we are. I have troops sitting on random borders with random countries now. Let's see. I had a bunch of people on the Japanese border down there. And we have Moklik as our puppet, as well as the Tibet peoples. Let's see. Iran is a puppet of the Ottoman Empire, as is Kurdistan. They're still fighting the Egyptians. Let's see, where do I want to go next? Bhutan. And Bhutan, Burma, National Protection Alliance, China. Those would all make interesting places to puppet. Or annex, as the case may be, as well as the Bhartiya commune, and these dudes. Let's see here. Who do I want to go after next? Because I was considering this last time around. And thanks to the fucking Germans, we weren't able to get Dongguan Union like that. We could demand concessions, but if Germany refuses, we'll end up at war with them, and I'm not really in any state to fight a war against the German Empire, so that's something I'd rather avoid. And unlike in my last playthrough of Kaiserreich I did, where I was Soviet Russia, the Kingdom of Ukraine has not pulled out of the German alliance. Although... oh wait. Their independence is guaranteed by the bloody Finns. Or Germans, rather. Oh wait, I take that back. It's not independence that's guaranteed. It's they have a non-aggression pact. But if I declared war on Finland, they would probably join Mittel Europa, and that would lead to war with Germany. So as much as I would like to yoink Finland, that's not really an option right now. We'll have to watch and hope Germany and France continue to beat each other to death with a stick for a while. For now, and Schindelhandel, if you want to jump in with some advice or anything at any point, feel free. For now, the thing that I'm contemplating is something to do with Transamur. You see, we have a couple of options on how to deal with Transamur, but during our war with Mongolia, we signed a non-aggression pact with the Japanese. So I would have to get rid of that if I wanted to be able to do anything about it. And we'd have to wait until November to do that. So, we just say it's worth it, canceling my non-aggression pact with Japan, which I kind of like having, since that's my guarantee that Japan will not stab me in the back. Let's see. Or I could always invade Afghanistan, because that never goes wrong for the Russians, right? Russian invasions of Afghanistan always succeed, clearly. Let's see here. Well, for now I want to bypass White Mongolia from the map, seeing as we've already conquered them through an event. Let's see. We can't just join any faction because it's not late enough in the game. But what I am going to go for next is local training barracks. That'll reduce the time to research weapons and equipment and make our divisions train faster. Right now, the Russian army needs to get big fast. And we're still about 28,000 infantry equipment short of being fully reinforced. Which reminds me, Tikvin. Where is that exactly? I don't remember. Probably somewhere. Let's see. Right now, these fellows are more needed over here on the Western Front, because that's where we need a lot more divisions right now, since I'm preparing for an inevitable war with Germany. Although, actually, I take that back. We need them more in the Indian sort of area, because I would like to start invading random countries over in India. Because India. Yes, that's a justification for that sort of thing now. Because India. Anyways, we'll do that. I need to be producing motorized, but don't have what I need, so I'm actually just going to get rid of those. And just start deploying these guys everywhere. Zemstvo funds a school, we get more stability, which is irrelevant seeing as we're already at 100% stability. And these guys we're not going to be able to start deploying for a while now, as we need to get our industry better before we'll have the ability to do that. Right now I'm just building a boatload of civilian factories. Albania declared war on Serbia. Yeah, good luck to you, Albania. You're probably going to be fairly dead fairly soon. Because you're Albania, and this is Serbia. Look at the difference in size, and therefore other things. Wait, apparently the Austro-Hungarian Empire is joining in on the fun, so I may have been a touch too optimistic when it comes to Serbia's chances. Because right now, the only front they're not fighting on is The only fronts they're not fighting on are Greece, since that's their ally, and Bulgaria and Romania. So yes, I don't exactly rate Serbia's chances that highly, to be honest. I don't think they're going to come out of that war too well, quite frankly. Let's see here. The fall of Beijing. After days of high-intensity fighting in the capital suburbs, Fentian troops finally scaled the walls of the outer city, scattering the defenders and making further defense of the capital all but untenable. With rail lines into and out of the city thoroughly cut, the remaining Qing forces quickly thinned as deserting soldiers melted into the urban population. All Fentian colors now fly over Tiananmen Gate. The flames at Zingimen send towering columns of thick black smoke into the sky, its sad symbolism lost on view among the war-weary population. China can only hope the new city's occupiers, one of many since the turn of the century, will finally restore some modicum of peace and order. Not bloody likely. Not bloody likely. Free Liberia has capitulated to German Middle Africa. Okay then. The Iberian Federation is trying to go after Middle Africa. I wish them luck. They're gonna need it. Frankly, I'm surprised the Iberians haven't joined the Commune of France or invaded Portugal yet. Both are things they usually do. The Fentians have cancelled our Lend-Lease that we had from that war with Mongolia. Oh well. And Japan is busy slicing into the Qing right now, so they're not gonna last for long, I don't think. Our ideology has grown. Good show. We can get our party popularity up there and start gaining more political power and everything. But, I should be adding in some people for these other things. I have no theorist I can get. Chief of the Air Force. Air superiority, I think. We're going to need that to shoot down other people's planes. And I'll also take our School of Mass Combat Chief of Staff, if I can find an especially good one. Both Denikin and Duke, and then give me the same bonuses. So it's just a matter of who I want. I'll take Denikin, because Denikin. And of course, Serbia capitulates. What are they gonna do now, I wonder? Well, Greece is apparently getting annexed by the Austrian Empire. I don't know how that happened. I didn't see Greece actually being conquered by them, but I guess they must have been when I wasn't looking. And they were allies, so it kind of makes sense. Now, Greece is an Austrian puppet? Let's see. It's an Austrian puppet. Albania is allied with the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And Serbia is an Austrian puppet. So much for that independence you kept going on about. Now, Serbia? You are apparently Austria's bitch now, as is Greece. Have fun with that. And yes, Germany and France are currently busy trying to beat each other to death with a stick. And as was the case before, as I mentioned last time in my or the time before perhaps, in my disbelieving statement about what was going on, Belgium declared war on and conquered the Netherlands, who had gone communist. Yep, that's a thing. That's a thing that happened. A thing that happened is that. Direct ground support research is done. Let's check out our research options right now. Our industry research will be going into 1941 if we went for that. I'm ignoring the Navy right now because, as Russia, we really don't need a Navy at this stage. It's kind of useless to us. We're a land power, after all, and that generally doesn't tend to involve too much Navy. Let's see here. What next? 1940. I'm going to start researching into special forces to have the people who are good at special things and all. Very specific way to describe it, I know. Let's see here. How's this war going? Well, it appears that Canada has established a small beachhead in Wales. It'll be interesting to see if Canada can keep that little beachhead of theirs. Things are still nice and stalemated over on Germany's Western Front. Good. Keep it that way. I want these two to exhaust as much manpower and resources as possible fighting each other. I don't want this war of theirs to end anytime soon in either direction. What I would like to have happen is them to just utterly exhaust each other trying to break their lines. And just have it get to the point where, by the time one of them manages to win, they're just so tired, and I'm in a good position to just sweep in and crush them. And really, I'm hoping Germany wins, but as I've said before, at such an extreme cost that they and all their allies have been so exhausted by the war that they can't do anything about it. And fortunately for me, the Austro-Hungarian Empire is not aiding Germany. And they're in their own faction. So the only people fighting on Germany's side are its allies and puppet states in Eastern Europe and the Caucasus. The AOG is nominally helping them as well, but they're independent enough right now that they aren't really doing much. And as we can see right now, the Japanese are just carving their way through China. Let's see here. What next? What's next? I'm seriously considering ending my non-aggression pact with Japan. And just plan it. And just seeing if I can absorb trance more diplomatically. I'm fine with Japan and having China. Beyond what I already own of it, I really have no interest in China. But this is going to largely be an experiment, and if it goes wrong, it ends up leading to me being at war with the Japanese because I cancelled our non-aggression pact, which I can't do until bloody November. Also, it's not like I can do that now. Anyways, the reason I'm saving is I want to see what will happen if I demand concessions with Germany. If it goes wrong, I'm going to be fully honest here, if this goes wrong and it ends up resulting in a war with the Germans, then I am going to reload. Because this is just me messing around a bit right now. So if that goes wrong, then I will reload. Doesn't look like Japan is having any trouble over in China, though, does it? They'll probably conquer the Qing and give that all to the Fentian. That's probably what will end up happening. Would not surprise me in the slightest. Especially with all the advances they're making right now. Which will be tricky because that'll give me a much wider front to cover. Demand concession in the Caucasus, yeah. They refused, and that would be us declaring war on Germany, so I'm gonna hold off for now. Why is my game lagging? I have absolutely no idea. From my end, it looks to be performing fine. I don't know why it would be lagging. That is really weird. Hang on a second. Let me try something. I don't know if that'll do anything, but I had some YouTube videos that were apparently open in the background, and see if closing them does anything. I've had that cause that sort of thing in the past, and I have no idea why. I don't know if it'll actually work, but that's one thing I can think of to try. Anywho, Funkian government. Alright, I need to pick something else. Let's see over here. There's modernization. Go funding frenzy. I'm gonna move down that route and get myself some more infrastructure. And yeah, the Qing are doomed right now. Picking to intervene in the war wouldn't have really done anything, except get us involved in a war with Japan that we would probably have just stalemated. The Fentian took 13 states and the Qing have been annexed. They're probably going to be going after some other Chinese states soon. I'm somewhat more reluctant now to break my treaty I have with Japan, seeing as that would give them the right to attack me. But if they break it first, then I will go after Transamore, I think. It depends. We'll just see which way the wind blows, so to speak. Okay. Picked up that thing, so now what? Well, we still don't have signal companies or field hospitals. Let's work on fixing that. Let's work on fixing that. Okay. How are things going over on the Western Front? The same as the last time I checked, apparently. Let's see. The Entente have been driven out of the Union of Britain. And the Iberians still have their little bit of Africa down there. Oh, right. That's something they had before. What am I saying? That was always theirs. I don't know what I was thinking there. Get decryption too. Now, one of our generals has died. Fortunately, it's one that wasn't operating in the field. Paltry 5 divisions there. So first, these guys over near the Ukraine, they need a new theater. All for themselves, I think. So, you're getting promoted so I can have another field marshal. Now find me my unassigned dudes, please. Go on then. And you can get over there. I'll assign some new troops to this army once I have them. Now get moving. Speaking of which, I'm moving you all to there because that's where you're getting assigned. That's fine. We're going to start assigning basically all our troops to the Western Front. It's time to start and to get on our way, preparing for a war with Germany and her allies. As the game seems to be implying that one is approaching. So I need to start getting as many divisions as I can on my border with the United Baltic Duchy, Belarus, and Ukraine. I think we have sufficient numbers on the Donkuben Union right now. So we can just head down there and squish the Caucasus. As soon as that war starts. And we're going to start it by demanding concessions from Germany, of course. Come on now. Keep your war going as inconclusively as ever. Come on. Just stay inconclusive with no outcome whatsoever. No breakthroughs, that's all I ask. No breakthroughs. Kingdom of France has nabbed Marseille, but I very much doubt they'll be able to keep it. No. No fucking ideology supporting in my camp, you idiots. Getting rid of you. Some officer died. Oh no. And yeah, Schindelhandel, now I'm finally seeing what you mean about the game lagging. It started to perform badly for me as well. And I think I know what's going on, though it's happening a few in-game years earlier than it did the last time I had this. You see, it's a little thing that I've had happen in the past with Hearts of Iron in general, and Kaiserreich specifically, where once you start getting into the late game years, like 1942 to 1948, and you see now why I say it's a little bit earlier than usual. Once you start getting into those late game years, there's so many divisions active in the game and under my control that they just start to slow it down incredibly because of how many people there are fighting all across the world. It'll just start to tank the performance. And I think that's what's going on here. It didn't hit me at first. Or I just didn't notice it maybe, but that's what we got going on. Funding frenzy, yay. Add some more factories and everything, I guess. Of November, those 3 will be done. Right now, we're getting our industry sorted, as well as recruiting more troops for the front lines. It's going to take quite a while. I queued up a bunch more divisions, as you can see. I told you before, no supporting your ideology. We don't like that around here. I'm going to put us up to the maximum possible speed. And I'm also going to check our relationship with the Japanese. Minus 150. They don't like us, and they're going after the Philippines now, apparently. Mass for the motherland. More stability we don't need, because we're already at 100 bloody %. Bring Philippines into the fold. Let's find that one. And here on their list. here. It's probably them saying be annexed / puppeted by us or else. Would be my guess. And from the looks of things, the Philippines chose or else. As you do, right? You're threatened by Japan, and they tell you do this thing or else, and of course everyone picks or else. Because that totally makes sense, right? Nothing illogical about it whatsoever. And from the looks of things, the war between the Commune of France and the Middle Europa is going to go on for some time now. With a little bit of Entente interference here and there, and dear God, I'd forgotten about this. But the Civil War over in the United States is still going on. I mean, it's bloody 1940, and their Civil War is still not ended. That's impressive. It's also going to relegate the United States to basically being irrelevant in this playthrough. Because they had to spend all their free time fighting a civil war. Oh yeah, and Brazil and Argentina, who for whatever reason is called La Plata in this mod, have now gone to war. Though I think we can attribute a lot of the US's winning in this war to their alliance with the Pacific States. That's certainly helping them. And yep, no change to the front line in this Franco-German war right now. And it's been ongoing for somewhere around a year now. Of November, that next civilian factory will be done. We're getting to the end of our civilian factory line and into the military factory one. Making progress on our industrial expansion and also on our infantry lines. Japan has just cancelled their non-aggression pact with us. I was contemplating doing that for them. They beat me to it. Now, once that National Investment Bank thing finishes up, gives us a bunch of civilian and military factories to play with. And we can then go for the war preparation program. To get that in place. And then Russian railways, more infrastructure, and expansion of the Trans-Siberian Railroad. can improve the infrastructure and get that back. Apparently it would cost us 10 stability to do that. I'm not sure why, but it would, apparently. I can plan a plebiscite in Trentmore, but I'm going to save the game first. Just in case doing this ends up resulting in a war with Japan or something. And of course, we need more factories pumping out infantry equipment for us. Lots of non-aggression pacts that we had set up during our war with Mongolia are being cancelled. Seeing as we no longer have a common enemy in Mongolia, a lot of these nations don't feel the need to continue with their declaration of non-aggression, I suppose. Special Forces research is done. Let's see. Now, do we want more special forces or better special forces is the question. Well, we are playing as Russia and I am using the mass conscription variety, so I'm going to go with the traditional, go with what is, in this particular Kaiserreich universe, the traditional Russian model, and just get more special forces. Numbers over quality, because of course, if you throw enough people at a problem, eventually it will go away. Right? That makes total sense, clearly. Trentmore has decided to say no to the plebiscite and arrested the organizers. An independent state with a long historical tradition of independence from Russia. Hilarious. I'm sending in the army. Facing the threat of Russian military force and deprived of the support of the local capitalists and the Japanese, Hansenberg's government is ready to collapse in the face of the popular will. We can now do what we like with Trentmore, but it has been independent for a long time and will be difficult to integrate into our country. Perhaps some sort of compromise is needed. I don't think so. We're just annexing them straight up. Put their leaders on trial and incorporate Trentmore. Oh yes. Trentmore is now ours again. We have some naval dockyards. For now, I'm just going to put all their naval dockyards to work, producing convoys to us. Navy's not too important with us right now. I'm going to avoid the Manchurian interest right now. That would most certainly involve war with Japan. But we will rebuild the Vladivostok port. Decryption, side channel attack. I'll take encryption now. So we can start working on that. Russia controls Siberia. Stability comes back to Siberia, where barbaric Mongols and the treacherous Admiral Kolchak have been trying to drive Russia into chaos. Now our Siberian border is much more secure and we can strengthen ourselves in Siberia. Great. Indeed it is. And the Japanese troops have got the message they need to GTFO from their former puppet states' lands. And they are busy doing just that, getting out of our damn lands. Transamur is ours again. How excellent. Let's see here. I have a tiny bit of equipment needs, but for the most part that's met. So I'm going to deploy all those lines instantly. That's 15 divisions. We'll deploy them all with you. Those can be my 2 armies guarding the Kingdom of Ukraine. Next, I'm going to start deploying some more along the border with Minsk and the United Baltic Duchy. Then I think I'll finish off by setting troops along the Finnish border. I would like to be able to invade Finland at the same before we go after the Germans, if at all possible. I don't think it will be, but I want to give it a shot. Welcome, Field Hospital. You are very Field Hospital-y. On to Signal Company. And back to having a look at the German border with France, which has not changed even a little bit. This is one giant stalemate they're in the middle of. And I don't imagine it's one these folks are too happy about. The Philippines have been annexed by the Japanese. And said Philippines are now a Japanese colony, apparently. Because according to Japan, when it comes to other nations in Southeast Asia during this particular Kaiserreich timeline, independence is overrated. At least that's what I've decided they're saying. Don't need infantry equipment for reinforcement now. That's basically done. Just light tanks. And I'll be throwing lots of divisions into the mix along the German border. Well, German as in their puppet states. I'll be throwing lots of divisions into there to fight off Germany and her allies. I think we're good at the Dongban Union, but I may put another army there if I can swing it. Insulinda. The hell is that? Oh, that's right. The formerly Dutch colony out here in the East Indies, wasn't it? Before the Dutch turned communist, I mean. And their colony decided to break away. That's what those guys used to be. In any case, let's see. Our civilian factory construction should be done by the beginning of April. Going well. And the front line between these two is still stable. Hasn't advanced in either direction. The Entente is also still trying to take back France and Britain on their own, with little success. And we have an update regarding the United States. The United States of America has annexed the American Union State, Treaty of Washington. Now they just have the CSA to deal with, which is holed up in New York. I'll get to that in a second. They're holed up in New York because, for whatever reason, in this particular campaign, Canada did not decide to, or New England rather, Canada did not decide to seize New England in this campaign. And I don't know why. They just decided they didn't want it. Vladivostok port rebuilding. We're eventually going to have to fight the Japanese, but I don't want it anytime soon. But for that reason, we are going to seize and convert all of the ships in the harbor. It will piss off Japan, but even so, I need warships. Even though all we're doing right now is producing convoys, soon enough that's going to change. For now, war preparation program. Speaking of tanks and fighters, we need to upgrade that whole thing. Interwar bomber. I haven't even bothered with researching any newer type of bombers because we're probably not going to have much use for bombers beyond getting them shot down by the Germans. So I haven't bothered. Encryption is done. So what I'm going to do now is finally start researching ships for our Navy to get us the more advanced variety of warships for the Navy. We're really going to need some better ships in our fleet. I'd say it's inevitable that we'll probably end up at war with the Japanese, and if I want to fight them, I will need either a massive navy or a massive air force. And either way, I'm probably going to need a navy to keep theirs busy. And we're going to need to need to get troops onto mainland Japan. Somehow. That's going to be tricky if all we can use is paratroopers. But I'm sure we'll manage it. Anyhow. Right now I'm in the slow and steady build-up phase. Wait, peace between Yemen and someone else? Right. I'm in the build-up phase where I'm getting ready for war with the Germans. And just in general, deploying a lot more troops to the front line. Zemstvo funds a railroad. More infrastructure is always good, so hooray for that. Getting into the construction of our military factories now. Since there's just one more civilian factory to produce. That'll be done in a couple days. Speaking of military factories, we need a lot more of them. Anywhere we can get them. Some more factories basically everywhere. In this case, build some more factories actually everywhere. That isn't our puppets. We're getting ready for war, so lots of military factories will help us with that. Speaking of lots of military factories, I'm going to start putting some more into light tanks. As they come out. We need to produce more of those right now. I also need more fighters. We're going to need an air force to fight the Germans. Divisions here. You can be a brand new army. I'll put you along the border with White Ruthenia. We also need yet another field marshal to be able to do things the way I want to. So you've been assigned to White Ruthenia. That's good. Now you continue down the mass offensive route. Or let's actually check what the damn thing is called. Yes, continue down the mass assault doctrine. That's the one we want. Maybe. We're still on volunteer only for our conscription. I'm going to move us up one to limited conscription. It's going to take some time for the change to take effect, obviously, but yes, we'll start mobilizing more dudes. War preparation program done. Let's get the railways thing all underway. And now, we just keep doing more of the same. I would like to pull some troops off the Japanese border, but the minus 160 opinion of us right now. Minus 160 opinion right now that they have of us, as well as the sheer amount of China under Japanese control right now. I don't think I can afford to do that. Much as I'd like to just pull those guys off that line to be able to send them over to Europe to fight this war. Expanded Special Forces is done. I'm going to work on our mobile infantry some more. And the French appear to have renewed their assault on Germany's front lines over in the west. The Iberian Federation is also tearing through Portugal. who has joined the Entente. No supporting your ideology. We've had this conversation before. Come on. And there's an isolated pocket in the Kingdom of France and in the Iberian Federation. Now it appears the Iberians are approaching Lisbon. So I am afraid that Portugal is not going to be sticking around for very long. And whatever French troops are in that area are about to die. But the Balearians, or this place, we'll just say, is under the control of Canada. Well, they have a nice little jumping off point to attack the Iberian Peninsula. And now the United States of America has annexed the CSA. Their civil war is officially over. Took them long enough, didn't it? And South Africa appears to be getting into the mix as far as this whole mess is concerned. And with Iberia, end of the American Civil War. The Second American Civil War, the bloodiest conflict to ever descend on the New World, is over. And as sobbing widows bury their dead husbands and sons, the old USA regime has been replaced by a reactionary military dictatorship that has vanquished all rivals. General Douglas MacArthur has issued a nationwide crackdown on all possible enemies of the state and underground CSA and AUS successors, and the nation is slowly starting to rebuild. Will the United States return to democracy, or will the legacy of the Founding Fathers be crushed under the leader's boot? Only time will tell, but this war will be etched into the consciousness of the American people forever. Yes, the Civil War is over, and now all that remains is for us to see what's going to happen next. Is MacArthur going to stick around as dictator forever and effectively be the American version of Julius Caesar? Or is he going to give it up afterwards? Oh yeah, and that's right. It's been so long I'd completely forgotten, but we sent volunteers to fight in the American Civil War. For good or ill, the American Civil War is now over. The General Staff have reported that they learned many valuable lessons regarding the nature of modern warfare over the course of the conflict. And we gained 5,000 manpower, 1 base stability, and 20 army experience. Though I'd say we probably learned more valuable lessons about the nature of modern warfare fighting Mongolia than our volunteers in America, really. Signal company research is done. So I'm going to start on anti-tank guns, since we still don't have modern versions of those in the field. And we'll start trading with America for oil. We're getting a little short on that. Germany's African colonies are starting to declare war on a bunch of random dudes. Translation. Some of the locals have revolted, and Middle Africa's having to put down some rebellions now. We will see how this affects Germany. In the long run, and if they can successfully put down these rebellions. We will indeed see. But yes, everyone over there is revolting now. Let's see. The French have captured Barcelona, apparently. But I don't know how long that'll last. God damn it. Will you guys stop revolting just so that I can not have these damned pop-ups? Come on. And of course they would choose in the middle of a war with communist France to rise up. Okay, Brazil and Argentina are at peace. Ugh. Wow, the performance in this right now is just awful. There must be so many troops in the field right now. My game's performance is just beyond horrible right now. I am so sorry. I don't think I'm going to be able to tolerate this any longer. I really don't. Russian railways done. Get that new researchers thing, I guess. Oh, God. This game's performance is just horrendous. It really, really is. I simply don't think I'm gonna be able to tolerate it much longer. And Middle Africa is falling to pieces, thanks to revolts by all the tribes and the local population all over the place. Middle Africa is just falling to pieces right now. I don't know how long they're going to last, quite frankly, and I would be interested to see what kind of effect that's going to have on Germany as a whole. But right now, just the point in this game we're at, and the number of troops that are marching around the map has just made this practically unplayable. As you can very well see. I wanted to finish this. I wanted to play this campaign to the conclusion. But I'm not going to be able to, I don't think. I'll let it run until the start of 1942, but I think I'm gonna have to end this. Just all the horrendous performance that I'm getting. I don't think I'll be able to continue much past that. And dropping the game speed doesn't help much. If anything, it seems to make it worse. But as I mentioned before, I've had this kind of problem before, but generally it was about 1942 or 1943 before it started to manifest itself. This time, it showed up in 1940. Dear God. And I've got to be perfectly honest with you, Schindelhandel and anyone else who's watching this, I do not know if this is a Kaiserreich problem or a Hearts of Iron 4 problem. It could be either, quite honestly. But Kaiserreich, I almost always play Hearts of Iron 4 in Kaiserreich, and it's the only mod where I've gotten far enough in the game for this to be a real issue. So, if it takes place in the regular games, well, I do not know, because I haven't gotten this far in vanilla Hearts of Iron 4 since before Together for Victory was released. So it's been a long time since I played the vanilla game. At least it's been a long time since I played it for any significant length of time. So that's a question I can't answer, I'm afraid. As I said, I want to let the game run until we hit 1942. Just because I like to have my games end at the beginning of a year for particular sessions and everything. But I don't think I'm going to be able to make it that far with this sort of performance headache. I really don't. I'll wait for it to hit the 1st of August, and we'll have to leave it there. Fucking mod. Or fucking game, perhaps. I don't know. Christ on a bike. This is a nightmare. Oh. God fucking damn it. Jeez. Fucking hell. Hearts of Iron 4 and or Kaiserreich. Do you hate me? Wrong day. Fall of Lisbon, the Portuguese capital's been yoinked. Whatever. Support your ideology. I don't give a damn. I was gonna stop it there, but I want to see what happens to Portugal. If we can. What's the point? They're doomed anyways. They really are. So I'm going to save the game again. And exit to the main menu now. See, I'm at 16th on the list, so... What nations are above me by score? So I'm just below the Fentian government and AOG and Kingdom of Poland and such. The US is at the top. Just underneath them is Japan. Germany is actually 5th, as you would imagine. But where's the Commune of France? They're at 90, so... Commune of France is 6th, just under Germany. Had to check that out. Now we're going to exit out to the main menu. Okay. Okay. Well, you could probably guess this by now, but I'm... due to the lag that was coming in there, just because of how many troops were existing in the world of that game throughout all the various nations, I'm assuming that's the reason why. I don't actually know for sure, but due to all that lag that having so many troops out in the late game had created, I'm forced to end this stream of Kaiserreich here. Even though I didn't even get to my war with Germany, which is maddeningly frustrating. I'm going to have to end it there, which is quite a pity. I would have loved to fight that war with Germany. But this is the point at which I am going to tell you that I'm not actually going to be replacing this Kaiserreich stream with anything, because I want to reduce the number of live streams that I'm doing a little bit, if I can. I think 3 streams a week is a good amount. And right now I'm doing 5. So there'll be one more live stream that I will not replace once it's done. And then I'll kind of stick to that. But anyways, this is where the live stream has to come to an end, because of the stupid amounts of lag that I was getting there. And you should know, this stupid amount of lag due to the number of troops and everything is not exclusive to this playthrough. My last one I did, where I was Communist Russia, the exact same thing happened. Of course, it was a couple of years later in in-game time, but it did happen. I will be coming back to Kaiserreich, by the way, before you wonder. I will be returning to this mod. Probably, though, that won't happen until the next update. So when Kaiserreich gets another update, I'll come back and start streaming it again, probably, because I imagine I'll have a stream slot free by then. But, and I'm also going to put this in the chat just so